Okay, this is Josh Gallagan from the Delaware Area Career Center Information Technology Academy. I'm the interactive media instructor here, and I'm doing a three-part series on the cloud classroom, and this is the third part of the series called bubble.us. And you can see right here the spelling of the word bubble is a little bit of a different spelling of the word bubble.us, and you can actually put this in your web browser, and you can see my web browser right here. My URL for this is exactly as that's spelled. This brings you to this web page. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about bubble.us. It's brainstorming made simple is the tagline for the company, and it's using bubbles to flowchart, to mind map, to create ideas, and to organize thoughts in a creative way in the cloud. You can use this for free. This is a free program. You get 3 free mind maps when you do this. You can upgrade to get more, to get unlimited numbers, but 3 is the amount that they will give you for free. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just kind of show you over here on the right-hand side that if you don't have an account, you need to sign up for one. And you would click Create an Account. Right here, put your information in, create an account. They'll send you an email to verify everything, and then you'll be off and running. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in just so I can show you how this works. And it's going to go ahead and log in, and let's take a look at the interface first. And the interface is just all the buttons that you can click on and how things work within this program. First of all, up here, this is the help menu, and if you click help, notice what happens was when I clicked that, this area here is kind of like a web browser, and it kind of looks like a tab in Chrome or Firefox. And when you don't want to use it anymore, you can actually click the X here. As you move forward through this, you could click, like watch, if I click Get Started, it's going to bring up these topics for me, and so I can read it here about getting started in this program, which they're actually pretty helpful, and they have some screenshots, and they make it kind of nice. And when this loads up, I can go back here to the very first screen if I want to. And I can also click Home, which will take me back to the beginning, which I am home now, so that's why when I clicked it, it didn't do anything. I can also click Forward, and it'll take me through to the pages that I was just on as it loads up in the server. When I'm done using this, I can click this X and get out of that area. This is the area that I'm going to work in later on and show you how to use that. If I click the upgrade tool, basically that's what that's going to do. It's going to give me unlimited amount of mind maps. They give you 3 to start with. $6 a month is what it costs for the premium version, the unlimited version of this program, or $59 if you pay one time. You can get a team plan if you want your whole school to be using this, or your business or some other entity. For that matter. So if I'm going to click here and close that and come back over here to Team. Team is where if I wanted to have multiple people obviously working on a team with bubbles. Now you can do that in the free version, but you only get 3 mind maps to work with per person. But you can add different members of a team to use this, and it looks like you can have 10 user accounts on a team in the free version. So let me go ahead and close that. Then there is the accounts area right here, and that's just going to basically be your account information. And if you wanted to upgrade your account another place, you could do that. And so I'll close that. And then finally, I can sign out here. I'm not going to obviously do that right now, but that's where you could sign out in. On the right-hand side are your panels, and I have 2 panels to work in. I have my Mind Maps panel right here, and below it I have my Contacts panel. And when I click these, notice they expand and collapse. Okay, so the first one we're going to be in is this mind map panel, and I'm just going to walk through and show you. When you click this mind map, this is just basically going to make a new mind map or a new brainstorm chart for you. So if I click this, whoops, I clicked it twice on accident. This actually brings up the area that you would create your mind maps with your bubbles in. Okay, and so this is the area, and this is what I'm going to show you in a minute how to use this. So I'm going to close this for now. Right here is a folders button. If we only have 3 mind maps, so it's not like it's going to get really unorganized in here. But if you really couldn't stand it, you can click and make a folder and have your mind maps in a folder here. And you can see I have one that I've already worked on as I practiced to do this. And if I click it, it brings it up over here for me. It kind of shows me what I was working on before. Okay. Over here is the sharing tab. So let's say I wanted to share this mind map with somebody. I could go here and I could ask for a read-only link to this mind map, so I can give somebody a URL right here. Okay, I could copy that and I could paste that into an email to somebody, I could put email addresses in here and send an email to direct people to this website. Okay, but that's how you can share it. You also can embed this if you're web savvy and creating web pages. You can get an HTML embed code, which generates right here as an iframe, and you can resize it right here, and you can even name it and copy that HTML code, and then you can place it in whatever web page that you're working on. Okay, so that is the mind map panel. Down here below is the contacts panel. And the contacts panel, and I'll close this real quick so we can focus here. On the contacts panel, you can add contacts. You could add friends in here, or find friends that you may not have already. Okay, so you can come in here and you can do those type of things to develop relationships through mind maps. So if you have several people in your class that are working on a project, that's how they can connect with each other through here, and they can even chat once that they're connected with folks. I currently have no friends in the bubble.us universe, but you can do that. You can even create a group in here of people that you wanted to work together, or multiple groups if you had multiple groups. Now notice if I click on this, and if I go down here and click delete, that'll actually get rid of that folder. It's going to ask you first, and I'm going to say yes, I want to get rid of that. Okay, and so it's gone. And the same thing's true up here in this mind map panel. I can, as I create my new mind maps, I can click here and I could delete this if I wanted to, and get rid of that. So that's how that works. Now let me show you actually how this program works and the kind of the meat of this. So I'm going to actually, let me hold on one second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, whoops. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop playing with this one, and I'm going to show you how to make one from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to close this here. I'm going to say, no, I don't want to save that right now. And this here says new mind map, and it's going to be confusing because we're going to make a new mind map, and what it does, it defaults to that when you create a new one. What I've learned is it's not super easy to rename this, because if I try to come in here, I got to click once, and now I got to double click, and notice it doesn't let me do that. So what I can do is you actually have to triple click it, and then it allowed me to come in here and to change the name. So I'm going to call this number 1, and we'll know that that's what that map that we started working on. If I wanted to save it, I could save it as whatever. Notice this auto saves every 2 minutes too. Okay, but that was not real easy to change the name, and you might find that frustrating at first. It's like you try to double click it and it doesn't pop up. I have to triple click it, and sometimes you even have to do it a couple times. You can kind of see that that's a little frustrating at times to work with that. Now there it goes, and finally it clicked on that. So that's one thing that's a little bit frustrating to me. There's an easier way. I'll show you in a minute how to do that. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and create a new mind map. And you can do that one of two ways. You could click up here, or you could click down here that says Start Brainstorming. And if I had other mind maps that I exported, I could import them here. But I'm going to click Start Brainstorming. And I can also rename my mind map up here. I found that to be much, much easier than trying to do it over on this side. Okay, so if I come in here, I'm going to call this one number 2. And I'll hit Enter. And now number 2 is there. Once I save this will actually populate over in my mind maps panel over here on this side. So I have this up, and I've created this bubble here for me, and I'm going to move this up to here. I just left click and drug this up here. And when I roll over this, notice that I have some options. I can change the color. And notice even within the color, if I roll over just the bubble itself, it'll let me change the background color. Okay, so I can go with whatever color that I want to in here as I click on the background of that bubble. Okay, and I'm going to go with it's hard to find, to be real honest with you. There's not a lot of great color choices in my opinion. So you can actually go up here to custom, and if you want to, you could come in here and you could kind of create your own color, your own custom colors. Okay, so if I want to get kind of more of a gray, and I kind of want to do a scarlet and gray or something like that, I'll click OK. And that made it kind of a gray background. And now watch this. I want to change the text. I've got to roll over the little letter T there. And so if I click that, now I can come in here and I can go back to this palette area. I can put red in there, and that's kind of hard to see. So let's go ahead and change that to something maybe a little more visible. And and that's somewhat more visible. And now notice this too. If I come in here, I can change the size of this bubble so I can read it a little better. Okay, so let's make that a little bigger for our eyes so it's easier to see. And then notice when I rolled over top of this, and by the way, I'm rolling over this, I'm not clicking anything. I'm just, as I roll over here, this little menu pops up. And then so if I want to move something around, here's my little move button. So if I left click and hold this and I drag it around, I can move anywhere I want. Okay. We're going to see the connect button here in a second and what that does, but I can also delete a bubble if I really wanted to. Okay, there are two types of bubbles that you can make. The first one is right here. It's just basically a new bubble. So if I click this, it's going to create a new bubble that's not connected to this first bubble. So if I roll over here, I can move it. I can go ahead and I can edit the colors. I can edit the text, the size again, just like we did the first one. Okay. And for some reason that doesn't want to. There it goes. And so I'm going to call this sibling bubble, since it's the sibling to this one over here, and move it just a little bit. And now, what if I wanted to connect these two bubbles? I can do that. And I can do it in either bubble, but I'm going to just roll over here. Here's the connect button. So I'm going to left click and hold it, and I'm going to drag it over here to touch this one. Now notice it's pointing at this one. There's a little arrow that points there. So if I left click this arrow, now I can change this if I want. Let's say I wanted no arrows at all. I just wanted a line. I could click it that way. If I click it again, it'll show me arrow at the end. And if I wanted an arrow at the start to show arrows both ways, I can do it that way as well. Okay, so, or if we just want to get it out of there, and we can label these lines too. I can label this, connector, and then I have the word connector written right here. So we're going to get rid of that for now, and I'm actually going to get rid of this bubble because I just wanted to show you how a new bubble works and how you can edit that. Below the main bubble, or the parent bubble, they call it, there is a way to do what are called child bubbles. So if I left click this, notice it made this nice bubble here for me. Okay, and I can type in here, we'll call this one A, and go ahead and hit enter. And if we hit enter, it actually, I take that back, it brings it down another line. So I'm going to backspace, I'm just going to click outside of this area over here. Okay, so now I can come in here and I can change the size of this if I want to, make this a little bigger. Okay, and then, I can move it around and, wherever I want to. So let's say we wanted another one, we bring another one down here, we'll call this one B, and remember, we click outside of it, we roll over it, and then we'll move it down to here. Okay, and then we'll add a third one, and we'll call this one C, and click outside of it, and move that, make it bigger, and then we'll move it over here. So this kind of looks like a linear branching flow chart, maybe like an organizational type of a chart. That's one way you can do it. We could drag this down. Okay. Actually, when you see the hand, okay, if I click move, it's just going to move this bubble here. So that doesn't do complete what I do, but if I left click outside of here and I just hold anywhere outside of here, and notice it makes that little hand, it'll move this anywhere on the screen that I want. So we're going to put this in the center for now, and I'm going to show you, let's say you wanted to do a true mind map where you had an idea in the center and you wanted ideas to come out from it. So we'll call this one D, and click outside of it, and I'm gonna go ahead and move this up here. Okay, and I'm gonna make this a little bigger, and I'll do one more just so you get the concept, and we'll call this one E. Click outside of it, we'll make this real big, and we'll move it up here. So now we got kind of an organic looking mind map where we got ideas flowing all around. Now remember, I can come off of here too. I can give this one child bubbles. I can give it, we'll call this one 1, we'll do another child bubble here, we'll call this one 2, and we'll do another child bubble, we'll call this one 3. And so I can move these around, and we got this kind of organic looking thing that's growing out here into what we want it to be. So if we created something and it's created things off of what we've created, maybe in a science project, or looking at cells and how cells organize themselves, or atoms and those type of things. So you can really do a lot within this program as far as creating these different mind maps. Now, once you have your mind map done, you have some options. We looked at sharing over here, and the sharing option, remember, gives you the web page code. You can go over here also to export. You can print it too, but we're going to look at export right now. We're going to click export, and notice it gives you a couple options for images. You can export this as a JPEG image, which is I would recommend for most things you're working on. But I click export, okay, it's going to give me a little preview dialog box. I'm going to click OK. And notice it gives me a really nice looking image that I can copy and paste into something. I can print this out. I can put this into a PowerPoint or a Prezi. But this really gives you some functionality then on what you can do from here with that. Again, you have the print option, which is self-explanatory. I showed you the sharing option, and then finally, you can you just save it. And it's going to save it right here. Now, obviously, we want to save this unless you didn't want it to clutter up your box. But we have now number 2 and number 1 in here. So if I double-click, there's number 1. And notice up here that it put my boxes up here, or my different mind maps up here. So we're going to go look at number 2. There's number 2. Okay. And so again, up here, I can undo things. I can print. I have all these options to work with. That, in a nutshell, is bubble.us. It is a simple program. It's free for the first 3 mind maps. I'd highly recommend using it. If you haven't yet, give it a shot. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening.